So, so I believe that what sets me apart in this wellness space is that I share a lot of my personal experience along with my professional experience. I too dealt with emotional eating. I too had a problem, especially like when I was first, like during my postpartum first year of motherhood, I had a problem with setting boundaries and not prioritizing my wellness and my health. And all of these things made me like even more passionate about making sure other mothers and other busy women don't go through this as well. Because truly, once I started prioritizing my wellness, it made me a better mom, a better wife, a better dietitian. And so I'm really, like, I believe in this wholeheartedly. And that's why I'm such an advocate for mothers prioritizing their health and wellness.
Welcome to another episode of WyzeCast, the show that elevates voices, shines the light, showcases the gifts of our heart-centered guests, and amplifies the positive differences they are making in the world. In today's fast-paced, digitally distracted world, maintaining our health and wellness has become more challenging than ever. So I am super excited to introduce today's guest to you. She is a registered dietitian nutritionist and the founder of Bloom into Health. She is here today to share valuable insights on how to care for yourself, even when life throws curveballs. With a background in public health, disease prevention, and biotech, she has become a passionate wellness advocate, specifically focusing on empowering busy mothers to prioritize self-care. By the end of this episode, you will have actionable tips and advice to improve your overall well-being. Today's guest will guide us on how to bloom into health, no matter what challenges come our way. Remember, your health is your most valuable asset. My name is Melanie McSally, your host for today's episode. And without further ado, I would like to give a warm welcome to the wise, the inspirational, and adorable Saríce Holley. Saríce, welcome.
Thank you for that warm introduction, Melanie. I'm so excited to be here, and I can't wait to share some interesting insights with your audience.
The pleasure is all mine, Saríce. Can you share a bit of your background and what led you to become a registered dietitian and wellness advocate?
So I kind of grew up in a home that was really health focused. I remember since I was a little girl, my mom, she would subscribe to like women's health magazines, and she had all type of herbal remedy books. So it's been something that I've been around for a while. And I also remember being interested in like how foods affect our body. And every package that I could find, I would wonder what the ingredients were. Like I knew how to read, but I didn't know what those ingredients meant. And so I was just always curious about what's in our food, how food affects our bodies and things like that. But as far as a career, like when people ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I thought I wanted to be a doctor. I think low key that had to do with like my parents telling me that. But also I thought, okay, I want people to feel good. I wanted people tell people what to eat to feel their best. So I thought that's what doctors did. And then later on, I found out what a dietitian is. I actually remember the exact moment. There was I was working at an old job after I finished the military, and then there was a segment inside the paper that was called Zmanim Brim, Healthy Times, and all of the workers, all of my coworkers knew that that's like Saríce's paper. Like some people would take sports, some people would take finance, and I would take the health and lifestyle issue. And then there was this interesting article about like foods to eat during the wintertime to boost your immune system and things like that. And so I was reading it and I was like, oh, this is an interesting article. I wonder I don't know, specifically that day, I wanted to see who wrote this article. And then it had a name and then it said registered dietitian. And that was the first time in my life that I heard of that title, a registered dietitian. And then I researched that and I wanted to learn more about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was like my aha moment. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I'm interested in food and how food can help prevent diseases, boost your performance, longevity. And that's how I decided that day that I wanted to be a dietitian. And then I pursued that, I applied for college and got accepted. And yeah, here I am today. Besides per se the dietetics part, I became more interested in wellness because pretty early on in my career, I noticed the difference between my male and female clients. A lot of times the men would tell me things like, yeah, just print it out, my wife will take care of it, or my girlfriend makes most of our meals, just like, CC her. But then the women, on the other hand, would tell me things like, oh, I don't have time, I have a job, I have kids. Like, they wouldn't make time for themselves. They would make time for everyone else except for themselves. And I'm like, you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to be right. You have to prioritize yourself. And that way you can show up for yourself and the people that you love even better if your cup is full. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into more being like a wellness advocate on top of a nutrition therapist. I really believe all of these things go hand in hand.
Saríce, your journey kind of reminds me of my own entry into engineering. I knew what I wanted and I knew what I loved, but I honestly just stumbled into computer science and software development as a profession. I almost wish that for everyone. Start out with what you love and want more of in life, and then find the profession and purpose that's in alignment. So, what sets your approach to health and wellness apart from others? And how can it benefit those looking to improve their well-being?
So I believe that what sets me apart in this wellness space is that I share a lot of my personal experience along with my professional experience. I too dealt with emotional eating. I too had a problem, especially like when I was first, like during my postpartum first year of motherhood, I had a problem with setting boundaries and not prioritizing my wellness and my health. And all of these things made me like even more passionate about making sure other mothers and other busy women don't go through this as well. Because truly, once I started prioritizing my wellness, it made me a better mom, a better wife, a better dietitian. And so I'm really like, I believe in this wholeheartedly. And that's why I'm such an advocate for mothers prioritizing their health and wellness.
Such sound advice. Take care of yourself so you can take care of others. I also think it's great that you mention your own hardship to triumphant stories. When you're in a crowded space, such as the medical field and health and wellness, this is a great way to give people an opportunity to get to know and resonate with you. That way, people that need you will find you. We need more diverse role models in the world out there, showcasing how to be better, do better, and feel better. So thank you. Many people face difficult times or setbacks in their health journey. What tips can you offer for boosting wellness, especially during challenging periods?
So one of my biggest tips, which started during COVID, but continued now with everything going on with the war and everything, is limiting news consumption. There's no benefit to consuming like you just scrolling and reading negative news, especially before bed. So that's one of limit news consumption. The second tip is I know we hear a lot about mindfulness and meditation, and people think it's just this drawn out thing that takes hours on end, but it doesn't have to be like that. If you could just commit, like put it on a timer where 5 minutes, you're just going to, quiet out everything, do some deep breathing, focus your energy towards something positive. This can really change. You'll just feel more alert. It's like a cup of coffee. Well, not really, because I love me a good espresso, but it's beneficial for the mind, the body, the soul, and it'll just kind of help you reset at that moment of stress. And if meditation isn't your thing where you think you have to sit in a quiet room and, and woosah, it doesn't necessarily have to be that. Even doing something that you enjoy can be therapeutic and meditative. Like some people, like I have a client, she really loves gardening, and that's her meditation. And I love that for her. Every evening she goes out in her garden and she like tends to her flowers and plants and everything. And that's her meditation. So find something, just even if it's just a few minutes a day, something that can recenter you and help you calm and not think about everything that's going on. That's, none of all the stress of the world isn't consuming you. Another one is hydration. If you're walking around dehydrated, it's going to make your symptoms 10 times worse. So stay hydrated. If you're not a big fan of water, try seltzer, like carbonated water. You can jazz it up with some frozen fruits or lemon and orange slices. Make it fun. And also take into consideration that things like herbal teas and 0-calorie beverages also count to your fluid intake. So those are completely fine as well. Sum it up, during challenging times, don't let good be the enemy of perfection. You might not have the perfect, routine that you would have in normal times, but do what you can. Try to find those mindful moments throughout the day. Try to stay hydrated and not consume too much negativity. And this will make your day-to-day go by much smoother.
All great advice. I can definitely feel the difference between doing and not doing each of those things. I gave up watching the news a long time ago because of the negativity. Instead, I have a few trusted people in my life that keep me informed. I am a big consumer of water. Oftentimes, when I have a headache, I'm feeling lethargic or unfocused, consuming more water usually does the trick. Finally, I meditate every morning just as I wake up. Before I get out of bed or check any notifications, I meditate for 10 to 20 minutes. It sets my day up for success, and I therefore swear by it. So I live by all of these, and I think that they're amazing tips. I'm not a healthcare specialist, but another thing that works for me is to scatter time for movement throughout my day. Right after meditation, I usually go for a short run, usually only 1 mile to 3 miles. After I eat lunch around 2, I usually go to the gym and do some strength training. And then in the evening after dinner, I usually go for a leisurely meditative type walk. It helps break up the monotony of sitting in front of the computer all day. It reduces stress and it allows me to have focused time in between. So nutrition can be overwhelming for many. Can you provide some simple yet effective strategies for making healthier food choices?
Oh, I'd love to answer this question because I see a lot of confusion on the internet from fitness instructors, so-called nutrition gurus, and even MDs that like to demonize specific food ingredients and blame it on cortisol and seed oils and metabolism because they usually have a book to sell or something like that. But for 99% of for 99% of the people, if they just, master the basics of nutrition, they're good money. They're good to go, and they can get the results that they're looking for. Yes, you have like little nuances that you can like tweak, but you want to start at the bottom of the pyramid and then climb up. But really, most of my clients, just by doing the basics, they're able to get the results that they want and enjoy foods that aren't, the healthiest or things like that. First thing is fiber. Fiber, you get this from plant foods, whole grains, fruits and vegetables, legumes, nuts and seeds. This is going to help. First of all, it helps promote satiety. If you're feeling full, then you're less likely to snack and look for food all of the time. But it's also it's also going to help your gut microflora flourish. We're learning more and more every day how important our microbiome is for our overall health. It's linked to things from depression, dementia, gastrointestinal diseases, so much. It's such an interesting field, but I digress. But I won't dive into that right now. The second is protein. Protein is crucial. We know, I feel like we're in like the protein age now, but yes, it's also important. It's the building block of our bones. As we age, we lose muscle mass. So you want to make sure you're increasing your protein intake while doing resistance exercises too, to help maintain that structure, this beautiful structure of yours. So fiber, protein. The next one would be hydration, which I touched on before. Another one is sleep. This is also extremely underrated, even though I feel like it's getting more awareness now, but try to get a minimum of 7 hours, and you want to do everything you can to optimize the quality of your sleep, where you're not waking up constantly during the night. Whether that's maybe you stop drinking an hour or two before you go to sleep, so you don't have to wake up to go to the bathroom. Maybe you make the room pitch black, so you're not awakened by light that's coming into the room. Put your phone on silent, or matter of fact, keep it outside the room. If you can. I know this is like quite hard for some people in this fast-paced digital world. And movement. And I'm a big proponent of finding movement that you enjoy doing. Of course, you want to challenge your body, but I feel like if it's something that you enjoy, you're most likely to be consistent. You're most likely to stick with it and be consistent. And that's the only way that you're going to see results, is if you're doing something over time and sticking with it. So find your thing. Some people enjoy walking, some people enjoy swimming, some people enjoy cycling, kickboxing, whatever movement you enjoy doing. Start with that, be consistent with it, and then try to mix it up with, and challenge your body with other things. But find a routine where you're moving most days of the week. World Health Organization recommends at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise 5 days a week. So that's the baseline, that's the minimum, and you can work your way up from there.
Got it. So fiber, protein, hydrate, sleep, and movement. Sleep is so crucial. I wear this Aura ring, and before I even look at it, I can usually tell what it's going to say. If I wake up feeling nauseous, I know I've gotten less than 3 hours of sleep. If I wake up with a headache, I've gotten less than 5 hours of sleep. I'm at my best when I get at least 7.5 hours. I used to have so much trouble falling back asleep. So recently I've taken to, when I wake up, if I feel like I haven't gotten enough sleep, I take a look at my ring, I subtract what I've gotten from 8, and just say to myself, I'd like X number of consecutive hours of sleep, please, starting now. Where X is obviously the number I need to get to 8 hours. Believe it or not, I usually come within 30 minutes of 8 hours after doing that. In your experience, what are the most common misconceptions about diet and nutrition that you'd like to debunk for our listeners?
Yes, love it. Yeah, so one of the most common misconceptions is that good nutrition has to be complicated. You don't need any special supplements or special gadgets. Like, look, there are things that make the experience more pleasurable or fun, but just know that you don't need anything special, at least to start. Get your sleep in, start moving, sleep, drink your fluids, and eat fiber and protein. If you nail those things, you're way ahead of the curve.
That sounds so simple. Honestly, folks, it's like with any habit. Build healthy living into your lifestyle, and it will just become part of your routine and no longer feel like an uphill battle. So, Saríce, do you have any success stories you'd like to share?
Yes, I'd love to tell a story about one of my favorite and inspiring clients who was kind of one of the people who inspired me to start Bloom into Health, where I decided I really wanted to help advocate and cater to busy women, busy mothers. So she just really she really inspired me, because when we first met, although she came with a lot of terms and conditions, she told me, I want to eat bread, I still want to eat schnitzel on Tuesday, and I want to have my cake on Saturday. I'm like, oh, that's good. I didn't come to take, make you miserable and take everything, everything you enjoy out of your life. So once we were in accord on that part, we started with what I call like micro goals, what we call in the industry micro goals. She kind of looked at me crazy when I told her after the first session, all I want you to do this week is like, drink more water. And we set a fluid limit. And she was like, what? Like, what about this and that? I'm like, do everything you did as usual. We're just going to start with that. And I like to start that way, because that way you want to make it so simple that it's foolproof. And then you get that sense of accomplishment, like, okay, I can do this. And then we raise it a little bit more, give you another challenge and another challenge. And then by the end, we worked together for 2 years. And over the course of 2 years, she lost 55 pounds. She did this amazing photo shoot where she got all pretty and took pictures, and she just felt so much more confident. Of course, her cholesterol went down. She doesn't have prediabetes anymore. But that was just like, that's when I realized the method can work for anyone. If she can do it, anyone can do it. She had 3 kids. She went through a divorce. She was working full time. She had all the excuses in the world not to do it. And she did it. And what she told me, like, we've been in touch for 5 years now, and she's still maintaining it. That's a beautiful part. You don't want to do anything that you can't maintain long term, because then what's the point? You want to be able to do something that's attainable and sustainable, and that it just becomes a part of your lifestyle.
What a great story. Do you have any final messages you'd like to leave with our listeners today?
So something I want all the listeners to take away today is that your journey to health and wellness in a sustainable way truly starts with making baby steps, adopting small habits over time, and being consistent with it. That'll get you there. taking small, consistent steps. So make a list of everything that you want to change in your life, even if it's a laundry list. And you choose one thing from that list, and not just anything, the easiest thing. So for example, like I did with my client that I spoke about, we started off with water. She knew she wasn't drinking enough water, among other things, and that was the easiest thing for her to adopt. And again, it didn't have to be water. It could be a low-calorie beverage. It could be lemon water, sparkling water, but we put a fluid target for her. So start with that. Do that consistently over weeks, even if it takes you a month or two. Once you have that down and it's a part of your lifestyle and it doesn't feel like an effort, that's when you go back to your list and then you introduce a new habit. And then you progress like that, and before you know it, you've really adopted habits that will change the way you look, the way you feel. And a lot of times people naturally lose excess weight without that even being their like main goal. And that's what I really like. Sometimes when you have weight loss as your main target, it can be anxiety driven, it can be frustrating. But when you change your priorities as far as like just improving your health, improving your sleep, eating more protein, moving more, pounds will start to shed as a side effect of improving your lifestyle. Just stay committed to the process, and slowly but surely you'll reach your goals. And again, don't let good be the enemy of perfection. You might not nail it every time, but as long as you keep moving and you're consistent, you're making progress, you'll get there.
I love it. I would imagine we have tons of busy moms listening. They're probably out there thinking, Saríce, I love your energy, but I know I can't do this on my own. What would you tell those hardworking moms?
Sure. So if you're ready to reclaim your health and vitality and benefit from my professional and personal experience, I encourage you to check out my webpage, saríceholley.com. You'll find tips and resources, and you can snap a free 5-day meal plan with 15 delicious and wholesome recipes that are nutritionally balanced and just perfect for the season.
Well, folks, you heard it here. If you want to kickstart your journey towards a healthier and happier you, I highly suggest you grab Saríce's 5-day free meal plan. It includes 15 delicious and nutritious recipes to get you started on the path to better health. You can access this fantastic free resource on her website. The link is on the screen for those of you watching and in the description for everyone. I want to thank you, Saríce, for being a guest on WyzeCast, for sharing your expertise, for giving us a wealth of information in a way that was fun and easy to digest, pun intended. It has been such a delight and honor having you. Oh, and I almost forgot, Saríce is coming to us from California. Thank you, Saríce.
Thank you so much, Melanie, for having me, and thank you to the listeners for tuning in. And yeah, don't forget to grab your free 5-day meal plan with 15 recipes and check out saríceholley.com for more resources. Thank you so much. To your health. Bye-bye.
I want to thank our listeners for tuning in. If you like what you heard here today, please do like, share, and comment. We are trying to get WyzeCast to be a hot new release. So if you feel inspired, if you felt moved, if you felt called, if we earned it, please do like, share, and comment. It is free for you to do so. It really helps the podcast grow, and we really do love your engagement. This was another episode of WyzeCast, the show that elevates the voices, shines the light, showcases the gifts of our heart-centered guests, and amplifies the positive difference they're making in the world. If you want to learn more about WyzeCast, you can visit our website at WyzeCast.com. We drop 10 episodes every month on the 21st, so you can binge watch or spread them out over the month, whatever suits your mood and lifestyle. Once again, my name is Melanie. It has been my pleasure being your host today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your engagement. And I invite you to come back and join me once again for our next episode of WyzeCast.